Hello friends, I hope this video finds you well. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I'm just a human eating plants. I want to talk about eating your water. I know it sounds funny, but yeah, I mean it. Eat your water, not drink it. When you follow and eat a high raw food diet or an all raw food diet, I know for me, I noticed pretty quickly that I didn't need to drink as much water. I just didn't get thirsty like I used to. And it makes sense of why you don't. All your fruits and berries and leafy greens and those sorts of things and your raw food, your food that's just prepared by nature, has a very high water content. So you don't need to drink as much water because you're eating your water. And just like for an example, bananas are pretty low, one of the lowest fruits as far as water content, and it's 75% water. So I mean, your leafy greens are around 90% water content. Celery and cucumbers, tomatoes, they're 95% water. Berries and grapes, and most of your fruits, apples and kiwis, most all these are high 80s and low 90s as far as water content goes. So, which is just another way to show you that Mother Nature designed this food perfectly for you. Not only are you getting the sugars you need, the carbohydrates, the fiber, the nutrients, the vitamins, the enzymes, all the good stuff that you need from it, you're also getting water. And I think that's one thing that's often overlooked when we talk about eating raw natural foods, is the water content that's in them and how important that water content is to us. So when I eat, I usually don't have anything to drink most of the time because I don't need it. And when you drink while you're eating, you're diluting down the bacteria and the enzymes and your gut microbiome. You're diluting it down and you're just making it harder on your body to digest. When your body starts digesting berries and apples and leafy greens and oranges or kiwis or fruits or any type of plant material, there's water in it. So it gets that perfect mixture of what it needs, and it starts in your mouth. As soon as you start chewing your food and tasting it and even thinking about it, your brain is already sending out signals to your stomach and everywhere else in your body. Hey, this is what's coming in. This is what we're getting ready to eat. And so your body prepares for it. So it has its own perfect chemistry system. We don't have to mess with it. Your water is in your food and you need to drink it that way. Dehydrating food too. I know there's a lot of people who eat a raw food diet and they dehydrate quite a few things, and I understand and I get it, and if that's what you do, it's fine. I'm not saying don't do it, but me personally, I don't consider it a raw food anymore. It's been extremely altered from its natural state, from earth. And so I just don't feel like we should be dehydrating food and drying it out, because although you're not really damaging the enzymes of it and you're not damaging most of the vitamins or the nutrient content of it, you are taking out the most important part of it, and that is the water content that is in it. That water is in there for a reason. That water is needed to digest these foods properly, mixed with your gut microbiome, as long as it is healthy and this is what it's used to eating. It's perfect mixture. So I understand that it does extend the life of food if you do live in a colder area or something like that. And I do understand that it does allow you to make other foods, such as like pizza crust or crackers or wraps or different types of breads or things like that. I completely get it and I understand. But those things are dry and they're very drying to the body, which in turn will make you thirsty. It dries you out. And that goes into just as far as oats, grains, even rice. things of that nature that you have to add water to that are dried out in order to eat it, I don't feel like it's something that we should be consuming on a regular basis at all. It does dry out your body. And so when you're eating a lot of cooked food or processed food or food out of a box that is just dry food, you're going to be extremely thirsty, which leads me into water. And my best advice to you for when you do need to drink water, because I do drink water, but I don't drink very much. I drink maybe one of these a day. One. Sometimes I might drink a little more. Sometimes I might even drink a little less. It really depends on what I've eaten and my activity level. I'm a pretty active person, and today I did a lot of yard work and gardening and that, so I probably have drank more today, but I've also ate some grapes and bananas and things like that and snacked. So sometimes instead of just drinking water, because I believe in the power of the organic fruit and the clean water that's inside of it much more than the water that I'm getting out of my faucet or that you're buying, especially if you're buying it out of a plastic container. My best advice to you is to get a good quality organic coconut water. And I use this in place of water, or, if you need some liquid in a smoothie or salad dressing or anything like that, I use coconut water. And then I also filter my water. Find a filtration system that you feel good with, that you can afford, and that works for you. There's gazillions of them out there. But I do filter my water, and then I store it in glass containers, and I also store water in copper overnight. I have a big copper vessel here, and then I just have a small one, and this is the one that I drink my water out of every single day, and I can also take it with me. But you should not be just chugging water all day long. If you're chugging water all day long and you're thirsty all day long, you need to change your diet. You need to eat your water. I do make fruit infused water too. This is really good if you've been out working, like today, out working in the yard. Grab one of these and drink it. So you got fruit and then you got your water, and it's just a really good snack too to kind of rehydrate yourself. I use the copper because water is energy. There's energy in your water. Every night I filter water and then I fill up my copper vessels, and this is the water that I drink from. I do that is because there is such thing as a copper deficiency. It's a very real thing, just as much as an iron one is. But I also do it because copper is the most conductive material or metal that there is. And so water does have energy, and water has memory. I recommend that you look it up and research it. Is quite fascinating. But I did quite a bit of research on copper and storing your water in copper. And so what I do after I filter my water and I've cleaned it, and I take and I fill these up, and then I hold them either with my hands or up against my body, close to my heart. And I know it's probably going to sound funny to some people, and I probably would have thought it sounded funny too at one point in my life, but I think after you research it and you find out for yourself, you'll understand. But you should always be appreciative of your food and whatever goes into your body. You should be very thankful for it. And I'm not saying this in a religious manner or spiritual or anything. You should just be thankful for what it is and for what it's going to become. And what it's going to become is you. This is your gift to your body. So whatever's sitting in front of you on your plate or in your cup, that is what you're giving your body, and you're saying, here, body, thank you. Thank you for taking care of me all day. Thank you for walking around. Thank you for working. Thank you for this. Thank you for whatever you've done for me all day long. This is how I'm going to repay you and nourish you and give you energy. So you should be thankful for it. Whatever's on your plate, you should be thankful. And when you are eating a raw food diet and you're eating food that's completely from nature and it's untouched and it hasn't been altered, it is full of water. So it is full of memory and it is full of energy. Everything is energy. So I am thankful for my water, and I hold it, thankful for it in my body. And then I let my water sit overnight in the copper. And there's many other benefits to copper as well. And I'll do another video just simply on the copper, but it is a very conductive, it is the most conductive metal there is. So it is going to transfer energy, and it is also alkalizing the water. This is nature's way of alkalizing water. Research it, look it up, but I will do another video on it because I feel very, very strongly about it. Don't go buy bottled water. Don't drink water that's just been stored in plastic for numerous reasons. For one, bottled water in the United States is at no different standard than your tap water. So the same exact water that comes out of your faucet in your kitchen sink is the same exact water that you're drinking. There is no magical water, and there is no magical water source. Now, there is clean water, and there's cleaner water out there on Earth, but all of our water is here, has been here, and always will be here. So you're drinking the same water. You're not buying some magical mountain spring water. And I really suggest you go out there and you do some research and you look up if you do buy bottled water or any type of packaged water, and actually investigate where that water is coming from. Because what is happening is these big companies that are bottling water are sucking streams and rivers and lakes and ponds dry. And the same way with soda companies and everything else that's trying to package up all this liquid. All the liquid has to come from somewhere. It all starts as water. So everything sitting around your house that's a liquid base is water. So that's where our water's going, folks. It's not some crazy climate change. It's sitting around in the wrong containers. It's not supposed to be sitting around in plastic containers and getting sold by the case and those sorts of things. It's supposed to be in our rivers, streams, lakes, and ponds. It's supposed to be out there for the animals to drink. It's supposed to be there for us. Collect rainwater if you can as well, if you have a really good filtration system. I collected as much as possible I can for my plants, and I recycle the water I use for my plants from sprouting and soaking seeds and those sorts of things. But that is what you should be doing. Our water system, the way it is set up, is terrible and it's disgusting. I do not recommend drinking water out of the faucet, and I do not recommend drinking bottled water. If you're someone who chooses not to eat animals and you keep meat and dairy off your plate and out of your life and out of your body, but you go buy bottled water, you need to stop. You really have to do some homework, and you don't want to be out there buying bottled water because you're taking their water sources. You shouldn't really be buying anything in containers as much as you can. I mean, stay away from it as much as possible. So clean your water, look into copper for storing your water. And I know there's a lot of negative things out there about copper as well, but I believe for me, I really feel like it's copper that's not 100% copper, and people not taking care of it properly. You do have to take care of it properly, and you do have to get 100% food grade copper, or yes, it is bad for you, just like anything else. If you get something that's cheap and it's not what it's organic versus non-organic, you can get organic fruits and veggies, and there's organic clean water from nature inside of these, or you can go buy the chemical filled GMO and then get the chemical water and drink from the tap, or better yet, go down to your local lake or stream or river and drink from that. There's really not much difference. You really have to stop and think about what nature has already perfected it for us. I know some people are going to argue that when you cook your food and certain things become more dense, or you get more concentrated, I guess is what the word they like to use, like beta carotene and lycopene. I fully understand that, but when you're cooking like a tomato, you're cooking the water out of it. Tomatoes are 95% water, so if you're dehydrating a tomato or you're cooking it, you're cooking the water content out of it, which in turn is going to make that lycopene more dense and more concentrated in there because it's not damaged from cooking like the water is. When you use that as your argument, you really have to stop and think about what's happening when you're cooking something. So it's not just the enzymes that, you know, people say, well, they get destroyed after, I think, 117 degrees. What are you doing to the water? The one thing that we cannot live without, it's the one thing we definitely cannot live without, is water. So if you're dehydrating your food and you're taking the water out of it, you're changing it drastically from the way nature wants you to, or intended for you to eat it. So we have to be real when we talk about what an actual raw living food diet is. I think once you start throwing a lot of dehydrated products in there, it's not really raw or living anymore, because water is the most important thing that you're getting from this. It's the element from earth minus the enzymes and the vitamins and the minerals. So I think it's just something really worth looking into and worth thinking about. And also, I suggest that you look into your water source in your city. Look up through the EPA, look up your county. Right now, I can get 2019's water reports. They're put out every year from the year before. So you can get on there and see what's actually in your water. I guarantee you there's going to be nitrates, and those are chemicals from pesticide companies. There's probably pharmaceuticals in there. There's probably lead in there, and quite a few other things. Our water gets bleached, other chemicals used on it to clean it. You have to think of where this water's coming from and where it's going. Okay? You flush your toilets. What are you putting down your sink? What are you spraying out in your yard? What are you washing your dishes with? What are you washing your clothes with? What are you washing your face with? All those chemicals are going back into our water source and have to be cleaned out of that water source, and then it comes right back out of your faucet again. So let's get real about it. Organic is important. We have to keep everything as close to nature as we possibly can. I grow your own food. Take control of what you can take control of. But you should be eating your water and just drink it when you're thirsty. You shouldn't be walking around drinking water all day. If you're thirsty sometimes, maybe grab some grapes. They're really good frozen too in the summertime. I hope you eat more plants. I hope you stay healthy. Until next time.